welcome to the show. Later, I'll be jetting off to Spain to test Michelin's new Road 5 tyre. We'll also be talking about some cool events. But first, Harry puts 2 fingers in the socket and comes over all electric.
The world is changing, and whether you like it or not, the future of transport is either hybrid or electric.
Words that strike fear into the heart of any true petrol head. How can electricity possibly replicate what petrol can give you? But urban transport has to be rethought, and electric is the way forward, especially when it comes to emissions and noise pollution. There have been plenty of attempts at electric bikes. Zero is the best known and possibly most successful so far. Even Harley-Davidson is getting in on the act. But what about the Lightning, the Victory Impulse TT, the Energica Ego, the Brutus V9 or the Lito Sora? What do you mean you haven't heard of any of them? And then of course there is the TT0 at the Isle of Man, and now MotoGP is proposing an all-electric supporting race, Moto E, on race weekends. It's inevitable, they are here to stay. However, they aren't perfect. The one big problem that still remains is practicality.
And whilst they haven't necessarily got the whole range thing licked with electric bikes yet, what they do have is an awful lot of style.
This is the Mees Motorman from Holland, and while it might lack the performance aspect that characterised the bikes listed earlier, it certainly has the style. Is it a scooter or is it a bicycle without pedals? Does it matter? It will do about 50 kilometres an hour and has a range of 60 kilometres. And if you think I am blatantly underdressed while riding this, just remember that in Europe, if the bike is limited to 25 kilometres an hour, which this bike can be, you don't even need a helmet.
Of course, the one great advantage of electric bikes is really what's not there. Can you hear it? No, you can't, because they're virtually silent, which makes them perfect for an urban environment or an estate environment, or even alongside wildlife.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Yes, we all love the sound bikes make, from the scream of a 4-cylinder to the rumble of a V-twin. It's part of what makes a bike so enjoyable. It's a signature. It's part of its personality. But not everyone is like us, and like it or not, they will put a stop to noise if they can. So why not make less in the first place and not give them the satisfaction? Would it really be so bad to lose the noise if you could carry on riding? Not to mention being able to ride in a city. That will stop soon too, and not because of noise, but because of exhaust emissions.
But of course, the real advantage of silence comes not necessarily when you're on the road, but when you want to play around off-road, and there's quite a lot of, well, people around.
But it's not only on road bikes that the electrical revolution is gathering momentum. One obvious area where electric mobility can be enjoyed without the penalty of range being an issue is in trials riding. And yet again, they're very quiet.
And here we are, off-road, not making very much noise at all. And bear in mind that this is being filmed in an equestrian estate in the south of Joburg, and we all know what horsey riders think about loud and noisy motorcycles. I've not annoyed a single one yet.
This beast is an electric motion e-scape, and it is here that electric power really starts to make sense. Outright top speed on such a bike isn't an issue, but controllability is.
The thing about electric bikes is that they give all their torque from absolutely zero revs, which could make things a little exciting off-road if you get everything right when you don't need it, like when your front wheel's halfway up a slope. But this has been mapped, so the power is just fed in very gradually, not very gradually, but you know, it doesn't come in with a bang, and it actually makes it a hoot to ride. It's a proper trials bike, so it has the suspension to cope with all the bumps and the rough stuff, And it's got this fantastic, very smooth, very quiet electric motor.
Okay, so my trials riding skills might leave something to be desired, but I have it on very good authority that this is every bit as good as a petrol engine trials bike in terms of usability. The beauty of a trials bike is that they are literally go anywhere, and for once, range isn't an issue.
You reckon to get, depending on how you ride and the difficulty, but you could get an hour and a half out of this, which, as you can hear by my breathing, will be more than enough.
In fact, an hour and a half riding time is a very conservative estimate, and as I keep banging on about, the lack of noise enables you to practice your skills anywhere you like without annoying anyone or polluting the atmosphere. It's a win-win situation. So there you have it. Electricity as a motive force is here to stay, and it's only going to get better and, more importantly, less expensive as time goes on. We can try to deny that the revolution is coming, but bikes such as the Mesh and the electric motion prove that it's going to be good when it does.
Okay, so I'm pretty impressed, lads.
You should be.
Sorry I missed out on that one. But before we get into the nitty-gritty details, first of all, I want to know how exorbitantly expensive they are.
No, I think we should move on to other details first.
So they're exorbitantly expensive.
Okay, the E-Scape, the electric motion E-Scape, 130,000 rand.
Okay.
Which is equivalent.
Doesn't seem
it's
too bad,
equivalent to a
actually.
top-of-the-range, petrol
Trials bike,
engine
yeah.
trials bike, and that actually has won a French grass championship against petrol bikes.
Oh, really?
Yes, it has. So it's an equivalency formula, and that's allowed to compete, and it won a championship.
I have to say, I mean, obviously not motorbikes, but I love the look of this thing. I could
it's-
definitely see in my 15 million rand mansion on my golf estate. But it would be useful for getting around. It's
That'd be
not going to annoy
fantastic.
anyone. So how much is that deliciousness?
105,000 rand.
It's not really transport for the masses, is it?
No.
What sort of range are we looking at then on this?
On these, you'll get top speeds around about 45, 50 kilometres an hour, and you get
That's
about,
pretty good.
and you get 60 kilometres out of it.
So that's plenty. Yeah, that's plenty.
And a sort
really,
of
isn't it?
3-4 hour recharge time, so you could ride it to work, try it today, and ride it home again.
And you will be the coolest person at work.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, look, it's you got to think of the European market. Crowded European cities. Just riding it around and.
I think
riding
I'd
on
buy a
pavements.
house in Danefern just to own one
Yes.
of those.
Just to have that.
Well, what I like is the fact that we always say that electric vehicles, electric bikes, they're sort of coming.
Yes.
But from what you boys have been riding, and we haven't even touched on this, the little madness that Don did in his introduction, this is what, Don?
This is a Kuberg. It's a Czech Republic bike. They make sort of mini bikes and things like that.
I see
This
it's
is
a
their-
Pro 50, so
yeah,
does
this is their racing model. It actually took part in the British 50cc championship, motocross championship, against the KTMs and the Husqvarnas. Finished third in the championship, took a few podiums, and actually managed to win a race. It's the first
That's
time an electric
impressive.
bike has ever won a national.
Obviously, we're talking with Pro
motocross.
50, I presume it's the equivalent of a 50cc motocross
Yes,
bike.
I mean,
or
it's
something.
mad. Hang on, I'm going to turn it on. It's going to bong. You're going to go mad. There we go. Bong. I mean, just
Oh, that's a
hang on,
masculine
hang
sound.
on, hang on.
And that's with him on board. I mean,
Stupid
mad,
boy!
it's mad.
imagine with a 5-kilogram kid on there. He'd never keep
Okay,
it.
so, I mean, what about range and stuff with it? Obviously, it's enough to do a Pro
Well,
50
yeah,
race
it's enough
or
to
something.
do a race. Or listen, let's be honest, we could probably only do
Can
two
you
laps
stop
of
it
motocross.
bonging now, please?
Such an old man.
I mean, range is obviously the big thing with these, but
Yes.
the electric motion E.
Well, that's a
E-Scape,
trials bike.
But they reckon it'll do at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of riding. And obviously, speed is not a big issue with
Yes.
trials riding. But
Yes.
I mean, as you saw in the piece, I was kind of out of breath after 5 minutes. But like I said, the revolution is coming, and on the basis of these, the quality and the style,
And the
there's
fact
nothing
is,
to be
they
afraid
cost
of.
a lot, but they're very little actual running expenses. Petrol, certainly not. No real service. I mean, tires,
true.
chain.
And this one uses basically mountain bike disc brakes. So
Yeah.
easy to service yourself and change pads and so on. So no, the running costs are virtually zero.
It's just that the initial cost is
Yes.
quite high.
Not zero.
A lot of
That's
initial
going to
capital.
change. But I tell you what, I'm deeply, deeply impressed that the stuff is here already and is good. Where where do I go to find out more information?
Okay, there's a website called electronpowersports.coza. So go there, they've got the full range. I mean, there's more bikes.
And it's the one concern that brings in all of these, then,
yes,
is it?
one
Okay.
concern that brings in all these to South Africa. Go and
I
have a
suppose
look.
the question is, are we going to see these on South African racetracks?
Well, he is, the guy who brings them in, he is actually talking to MSA to get the equivalency formula sorted out so people can run these against petrol bikes. The future's
Wow.
coming, lads.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go. You know where to go and find out more. We'll be back after the break with, with some rubber.